So I started hanging out with confident women, and the thing that sets them apart, this is that one key thing that sets them apart, and it is not what you think it is. Everybody on here tells you, oh, be authentic, be genuine, be authentically yourself. That's really hard when you don't know who you are and you're having other people tell you who you are. If you haven't done the work, then you cannot be authentically yourself. So instead, what these women all have in common is audacity. That's right. Audacity is the highest frequency you can have. I mean, just learn it from men. Men can have 0 brain cells, and yet they are so audacious that they will go out and find the biggest baddie in the world and try to date her. They will apply for CEO positions with having no more than a high school graduation. Men never downplay themselves, but women do. Confident women act like they are entitled to a lot of these things in life, act like the best things in life are actually meant for them. So if you cannot be authentic because you're not there yet, be audacious. Do something that you think that you wouldn't deserve normally, but tell yourself, you know what, I'm still going to do it. Apply for that job. Ask that friend, let's go on a coffee date. Message your crush. You cannot be authentic without being audacious. And it shocks me that everyone on this app misses that point. The thing about audacity is it's a very practical step. Sometimes it's as simple as doing the opposite of what you always did. So for me, I always used to befriend girls who needed me, who had low confidence, so that I would feel like, oh, I have higher confidence and I can help them. But now I befriend girls who have much higher confidence than me, or in much higher elevated positions in life than me. But whenever you're confused about what to do next, just think of what would the audacious version of me do next. If I had full-blown audacity, what would I do?
Ladies, you need to start having the audacity of a man. I teach manifestation and self-concept work, and the one thing I realized is that men are a lot quicker to level up their belief system than women are, because they were taught from a young age to have the audacity. You can be the president, you can be a CEO, you can have millions of dollars, you can buy whatever real estate you want, you can bag all the women. That is how men are raised. They are raised with the fucking audacity. Ever seen a man who is totally out of a woman's league walk right up to her and strike up a conversation because he has the audacity? He knows that woman is out of his league. He doesn't care. He's like, I'm gonna get her. That woman is gonna be mine. His belief system is through the roof. Women are not raised like that. They're meant to be subtle, be more quiet, smile more, be polite, submit yourself, be more submissive, put yourself in a box. That mindset is so fucking destructive. Do you know what the feminine is? The feminine is powerful, fiery, full of rage, totally bold in themselves, totally intuitive, going with the flow, being who they are. They're not supposed to be confined and submissive and put into a box. So I need you to start having the fucking audacity of a man. Every time you start a new project, every time you meet a new person, have the audacity of a white man. There's a reason they get everything they want. It's because of their belief system. Stop being so fucking timid and believe that you can have it.
I've been a creator for 5 years, self-employed for 2 years, and delusional for most of my entire life. And the one thing, really useful thing that I learned from my white male boss, which by the way was a monster to work with, is how to simplify things in your mind so they don't seem as big. And this wasn't something that he explicitly taught me, but something that I observed over the years of working for him. And how it basically went was that if we were coming up with a new idea that someone was going to work on, he would be like, oh, you just do this and this and that. Like, so simple. And by simple, I mean these things were not simple at all. Like, I was working in a biomedical engineering lab where people were working on PhDs, basically doing things that no one has ever done in the history of science before. And he was like, oh, so simple. And what I noticed over these years is that the people who did not think it was simple, like, they were like, you're oversimplifying it. This is actually very, very intricate. Those are the people that would get extremely frustrated, most of the time depressed, and also didn't make any accomplishments or any progress towards that goal. But the people who were like, actually, yeah, it probably is that simple, they all of a sudden would come up with these random crazy solutions and they would work towards that goal, whether or not they actually made progress, but typically they did make progress. So what that taught me is that your attitude towards a problem is what actually gets the problem solved, not how hard or easy the problem actually is. So even though I'm not a biomedical engineer anymore, although I do have a PhD in the topic, I use that mindset whenever I'm trying to do anything new. And it's really the reason why I've been able to accomplish so much, is because I'm like, oh, so simple, anybody can do this. Even though it's probably a really difficult thing, I've made these incredible strides in just the last 3 years of my career with just using that mindset. So it just goes to show that your mindset is literally everything.
This is why you need to have the audacity. So this one time I applied for a gig at a company and I submitted my resume, my application, my portfolio, and I even got an interview. I even interviewed with this company. I go on Facebook, I go into one of these film industry groups that I'm in, and I see that the person who interviewed me reposted the job in the group. And they were like, hey, we're still looking for people for this role, like, please submit your application. And at first I was like heartbroken. I was like, oh, they didn't like me enough, like they're not gonna hire me. But then I remember that I have the audacity. So I liked the post and then I emailed them, but I didn't mention the post. I just reiterated my qualifications and why I truly believe that I would just kill this role. And then I got it. And I did kill the role. And then they extended my contract and gave me a raise after 3 months. So just have the audacity.
I've been spending time around a lot of high value, overachieving people recently, and here's something that I noticed. If you are not a Nepo baby, it is in fact about how loud and audacious you are. Truth is, your quiet self might be smarter, might know more about certain topics than some of the people who are in the spotlight and have the microphone. But unfortunately, if you aren't willing to be louder about it, you can't really complain about not being in the spotlight, not being invited to speak on things. Because if people don't know who you are, then that's not on them. It's not about who you know. Everyone always said when we were growing up, it's about who you know. No, it's about who knows you. It's about who thinks of you when opportunities come up. It's about people knowing your personal brand and what you stand for, and that being so solidified that when things come up in that realm, they tap you to be the person that speaks on it. They want you to come work on that project. But notice how I said that you need a personal brand that reflects that in order for that to happen. And if you're really trying to do big shit and be on the forefront of certain things, a certain industry, and you are not a Nepo baby where you can silently have those plugs and it can kind of be like this if you know thing, you're going to have to start out by being loud. That doesn't always mean that you're the loudest person on social media and that you need to be making TikToks and posting on Instagram all the time, but it could also mean that you utilize LinkedIn in a very specific way and you're always posting about certain projects you're working on. It could also mean that, you do a lot of outreach when it comes to LinkedIn or cold emailing or cold calling people and letting them know about you, what you're good at. Even if you want to stay that more quiet person, you don't want to be a spokesperson, but you want people to know who you are and what you stand for, then you can do those messages and send those messages in private. But if you're not willing to start working on your personal brand that is very recognized from an external point of view, you cannot complain when you are not being tapped and chosen to be at the forefront of certain things, even if you are smarter and know more and more experienced than the people who are. And a lot of us are not willing to start working on that personal brand because we're so afraid of how we're going to be perceived and things being cringy or people making fun of us for doing that. But the people who you want to attract, who are also high value and you want to work with, you want to know you, are never going to judge you for that. The only people who are going to judge you for trying to create your personal brand and make yourself recognizable are people who are not on your level, jealous of you, and are also too scared to go and start working on the things that they want in life.
Listen, I want to be locked in like a white woman with audacity. Before y'all come to find me, just hear me out because story time is coming. So in college, I'm riding with my friend whenever we hit a big pothole. Naturally, so I'm riding passenger seat princess, so I cannot be bothered. Her, she was livid. So the next day, we're on our way to Target, and she stops by the post office. She drops off a letter. Naturally, so I'm a nosy person. I just need to be in the know what's going on. So I asked her, hey, what did you mail off? She was like, hey, I just wrote a letter to the city describing how frustrated I was with the pothole that we hit yesterday because our tax dollars should be going towards providing safe roads. What? In that moment, I realized that I've been taught to adapt to broken systems where she's been taught to make them work for her. And I understand that there's a higher level of complexity to this situation. But what I really want to pound home is a level of audacity that my friend had in that moment to write the letter. Because let's be real, most of us would have rode over that pothole and would have kept it pushing, frustrated and all. And looking back at that moment now as an adult, it was not about the pothole whatsoever. My friend in that moment did not just complain and sit on it. She demanded action whenever she wrote that letter. That was one of my first lessons on Audacity, right? Navigating obstacles in your path and challenging their right to even exist in the first place. So if you haven't wrote that letter yet, pick up your pen and paper and go send your letter.
You need to have the freaking audacity to go after every single thing that you want in your career. I'm speaking at a conference this weekend where not only are they paying me to speak, they paid for my flight and they paid for this gorgeous hotel that I'm in right now. And it's all because 4 years ago, I had the audacity to create this TikTok page and was like, I'm going to work in early career recruitment and I'm going to make my own lane for it. I'm a speaker, I'm a career coach. I've also had professional experience too, like I'm not just a content creator. But it's all because 4 years ago, I was trying to break into this industry. No one would give me a seat at the table, so I created my own. I went out there and I got the education that I needed. I had networks, I built this platform. And even outside of my content, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna develop my public speaking skills. I'm gonna do workshops, I'm gonna do panels, in-person, virtual. All because I had the audacity to be like, I want to work in this industry and no one is going to stop me. I got told no so many times when I was trying to break into early career recruitment. To the point where I created this platform. Like literally one of the reasons why I created the night semester is because everyone kept telling me no. And I'm like, well, y'all not about to stop me from doing this career. So you need to have the audacity to go after the things that you want. And that has definitely been a theme for me throughout my career too. Like when I worked at TikTok, I had the audacity to not only create a TikTok resume, but to slide in the DMs of a recruiter who was working there. I have the audacity for when I wanted to work in marketing, I created my own agency to get that experience. There's literally no one alive that is going to get in the way of my professional goals. And when you have that type of audacity, people see it. People love it. People want to help you get there. But you need to stop being afraid of putting yourself out there. Even if like it seems cringy, even if it seems embarrassing, like you need to know that you have the guts to even put yourself out there. Because some people, they don't have the guts to do it. But for you to have the guts to say, I'm going to put myself out there, I'm going to do what I need to do, that's amazing.
My biggest takeaway from Harvard Business School is that you literally just need audacity and delusional self-confidence to succeed in life. This is part 7 of how you can get some of that audacity for yourself. I think the biggest thing that a lot of people need to realize on the journey of building audacity and doing scary things is that you're going to have a very strong opinion. So for example, here's a story. So I have always wanted to be the peacemaker, not make too many waves. And that was my role in friendships, at work, whatever. And so I get to this business school where, you're participating in class. That's a lot of your grade. I was starting to speak up in class, but professors were giving me the feedback that I need to have more of an opinion in my comments. I was saying things that were cool, but they weren't really sparking discussion. Like, what is the so what? If you're consulting, you know what that is. And so that was really scary feedback for me to get at the time, because I was like, wait, if I have a stronger opinion, I'm gonna like, that's gonna by definition polarize some people and have them not like me. I think the reframe with that is that if you're watering yourself down so much to try to please everybody, you're really pleasing nobody, because nobody can really connect or react to something that is so watered down. And so if you are sharing opinions and being more opinionated, you are gonna, okay, sure, you might repel some people, like probably not that many that you're thinking, but you will more importantly be able to attract like-minded people or people that actually respect you because you're not afraid to share your own opinions. So wherever it is you're trying to adopt some more audacity, whether that is in the workplace, speaking up in meetings, or whatever else, try this week having some more opinions and seeing what happens.
Girl to girl or boy, it doesn't really matter. You have to be audacious. You have to be one audacious human being, one bold human being to succeed at everything, anything in life. I'm telling you, you have to be bold enough to ask for what you want. It doesn't matter in what situation. Every situation, you should be speaking your piece, your opinion. State what you want. If you want a skinny almond, don't let anybody give you a regular almond. You're paying for it. It's your money. If you wanted red, let it be red. If you want a relationship, that's a relationship. Anything else, you shouldn't be accepting. State what you want with confidence. It's a reason why people say, even when you're not confident in what you're saying, speak your rubbish in confidence. Because once people sense a lick of shakiness in your tone or your voice, that little bit of doubt, completely done, over, done with. You need to be confident in you, your choices, your thoughts. You might not always be right. You should always stand to be corrected and take correction, but state your piece either way. Whatever you want out of life, you need to be bold enough to demand it. To be honest, if you cannot demand it, then I don't know if you're ready to even have it. Whatever it is you have on your vision board carries a lot of weight, and you need the right confidence and attitude to carry it on. If you don't start building that right now, you're not even ready for the rooms that you say that you want to step into. And that's just the truth.
The gag is you need some audacity, okay? You need audacity to go out into the world and take up space unapologetically and just try. To not be scared to be seen, to not be scared to fail, to try even when it doesn't make sense, to try even though you don't have all the answers. Just like you shop online, shop for audacity. Add some audacity to the cart. Men have a lot of audacity. Find your nearest man and ask him to borrow some. Men don't wait around for validation and permission. They ask for the raise, they ask for the promotion. Men can be loud and wrong, yet they do it with confidence, okay? Meanwhile, we shrink and we need validation, we need clarity, and we need permission. In our heads, doubting ourselves. And the thing is, you won't know until you try. Sometimes the path is quite literally created as you walk it. And when we're constantly overthinking and not making motion and not making movement, that's when you start to feel stuck. And if you don't know where to start, throw a dart and literally start anywhere. Fail fast, fail forward. Audacity can get you pretty far. Effort requires no talent. And once you get out of your head and you just start putting one foot in front of the other and find some audacity, life rewards you.
I'm going to teach you how to have audacity because I think that I deserve the world and people have been giving that to me. Having audacity looks like always asking for more money. I have asked for a raise at every single job I've ever applied to and gotten. And I've gotten discounts on my rent in a luxury apartment and discounts on most things just because I call and ask. Now, the key to having audacity is a mental reframe. Because trust me, I've had a lot of doubters on my journey of gaining audacity. And one thing that holds a lot of people back is that they're afraid of like coming off as being weird. And like for me, that's not a concern because I know I'm weird. Like, and if you know me, you know that that's like the least of my concerns because that's just like I know I'm weird and what, like, let's celebrate now, I guess. You have to not care what people think about you. And honestly, like, I know a lot of people are so afraid of being cringe and afraid of being perceived as weird, but most people are so focused on their lives that I promise, they do not care what you are doing. Like, I remember in college, I used to be so afraid of like outfit repeating. And then my senior year, I don't even remember if I like watched a video or something, but they were like, people aren't paying attention to you. Like, if you rewear an outfit, people aren't gonna notice. And so I started rewearing outfits, and I'm not even kidding, like the third or fourth time that I would wear an outfit around someone, they'd be like, oh my God, I love this top, where did you get it? Like, oh my God, you look so good every single day. And I'd be like, I literally wore this like 2 weeks ago, 4 weeks before, and 5 weeks, you know, like people aren't paying attention. And I think that that's one thing that holds a lot of people back. Everyone's thinking, oh, everyone's looking at me. Nobody's looking at you. Everyone is trying to survive, okay?